is the Bill Squire Show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Bill Squire Show. I'm here with my buddy, Galina Rivina, who is originally from the Cleveland area, but she's been out in LA for a few years now doing stand-up comedy and recently has become a surfer girl.
Hi, Bill. Thank you for having me. Surfer girl is an exaggeration.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you just started this summer. What made you want to get on a board and how's it going?
Well, I've gone twice now, and it was not even really my choice. I just have a couple friends that moved directly across from the beach and got really into surfing and promised me they'd make sure I didn't die if I went with them. So I was like, you know what? Sounds good.
Well, that's awesome. I've always wanted to do it, but I never have. I haven't spent a lot of time at by oceans. So is it as hard as it looks?
Yes and no. I haven't actually tried standing up yet. So I've gone twice, and the first time I went, I figured out how to paddle out, and I
Okay.
figured out how to hop onto the board so that I'm sitting on it and not getting just like hurled over by every single wave. So all I've been trying to do the two times that I've gone is just to ride the wave laying down without being knocked off of it. And I'm not very good at that right now. I only have like a 50% ratio of not being thrown into the water off of my board.
Oh, well, I mean, time will get you better, and it seems like it's, with the way 2020 is going, the way 2021 is going, you'll have plenty of time to get out to the beach and go surfing.
Yeah, I've got nothing but time.
So how have things been out in LA during all of this? Because I know that you guys are still pretty, like, is the lockdown still going on out there, or like the quarantine and stuff?
It's still pretty locked down. Comedy clubs are not operating yet, not really. They're starting to do some patio shows at the Comedy Store where the comedian will be inside behind the glass and they're having people be on the patio. None of the restaurants are open inside. Still can't get, I think hair salons just started taking maybe 25% capacity. But nothing feels super safe to me, at least, because I'm one of these people that has Citizen app and I keep track of all the numbers and everything, and we're still getting about 1,500 new infections a day just for Los Angeles.
Wow. Yeah, I think the numbers are going up everywhere, but everybody, like in the Midwest, people just seem to be like, whatever. It is what it is. We're just gonna go about our lives. Because I mean, they're doing shows and stuff at Hilarities, but they're doing a very good job of distancing, and they have a state-of-the-art HVAC system where it's bringing fresh air from outside in, and then there's an exhaust system, so it's not recirculating the same air the whole show. It's constantly bringing in fresh air and then removing it at the same time. So it's
That's so nice. I mean, count on Hilarities to do everything proper, even a
yeah.
quarantine. Like, we got it.
Yeah, it's been nice to be able to go and do shows there, because like even like I mean, there's bars open and there's some people doing like bar shows and stuff like that, and I don't feel super comfortable going to those. But and if I have gone to a few of them, I don't want to act like I haven't, but I'm like masked up the whole time I'm in there, and like I think most everybody is, like, even when you don't have to be wearing a mask, I think everybody's pretty considerate, and they're wearing their masks and they're distancing, and that's nice to see.
That's good to hear, because I mean, I'm still obviously in touch with a lot of people that live in Cleveland, and I don't think my family necessarily takes it as seriously as I would like them to, especially considering how high risk they are.
Right.
They still hang out with their friends like everything's fine, and I'm like, why do I gotta be the parent all of a sudden? Why do I have to lecture you guys about, like, hey, stop hanging out with your friends, stop being irresponsible?
Yeah, it's definitely been a shift where the like everything, like we were you're a little bit younger than me, but I feel like it started around my generation where the helicopter parent was more of a thing, where there's like, oh, you're gonna get kidnapped if you go here, and our parents were so scared of all these things happening to us when we were young, and now that we're afraid, now there's something that's harming them in their demographic, and it's more harmful to them. And they're like, we'll be fine. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like you raised us to have anxiety, and then you're mad at us for it.
Yeah. And with my family, I think them being from Soviet Russia factors into it too, because they're like, oh, coronavirus, we did Chernobyl, we'll be fine. It's like, it's not the
same. Oh, that's when did they come over?
95.
Okay, so
or 94. So I was alive already. I was 5 at the time, so I have a little bit of that radiation in me too. Yeah, I was born in Ukraine, and then my family's from like some of them are from Ukraine. My dad's from Belarus, so just a lot of like different Soviet states that are now their own countries.
Mm-hmm. What do you remember from your time over there? Like, is there anything that like stands out? Any particular memory of the Ukraine that is like, oh, that's like that?
Yeah,
that was very Russian, or that was very Ukrainian.
Yeah, all of my memories from Ukraine are just trauma, which seems fitting. I remember being traumatized by, I think it was a tornado, something of the sort. Like a lot of their grocery shopping was just farmer's market style, where it was all outside. And I remember my mom dragging me home forcefully from one of these farmer's markets because there was a tornado coming and my dad was outside. This is how they used to clean rugs. This is so ridiculous and so Soviet Russia, but they would take a rug out of the apartment and they would string it on like a clothesline, and then they would beat dust off of it with a fly swatter looking thing.
Yeah.
So I have a very distinct memory of my dad having to like pull that off the thing, the line, and then bringing it inside. And then I remember a lot of lightning. I remember them throwing away a favorite pair of shoes of mine when we were like on the train coming to America. Just all things that I only talk to my therapist about now.
Well, I appreciate you sharing a little bit of it with me here. Do you know what kind of shoes they were? Because I'm kind of a shoe guy. So I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, I'll tell you. They were sparkly red shoes, very Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz style.
Oh, cute. That's nice. So you guys, you came over here at 5 years old. I imagine do you have to learn English when you got here? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think they knew a little bit of conversational English just from whatever education they got, because I think most countries are forced to learn English. I didn't know any though, but being that I was 5 years old, I mean, when you're that age, you just pick up language like a freaking sponge. And we had moved here, let's see, it was April. So by the time I started school, I started going to Mayfield back in the day. I spoke fluent English. I don't even remember having trouble learning it or anything. I remember watching like Nickelodeon that summer and just absorbing it. And by the time I started school, I was fluent.
Did you have like a little 5-year-old Russian accent, or did you sound pretty American because you learned it from Americans?
Yeah, I had no accent whatsoever. I think once you're past maybe the ages of like 8 or 9, you're more prone to having an accent. But again, when you're that young, you just soak everything up so well.
When I was in 6th grade, there was a student that moved here he moved to Medina where I grew up, and he moved from the Ukraine, and he, like, that he was at that age now. I think you're 11 or 12 when you're in 6th grade. So he was learning English as a second language, and it did not come as easy. And everybody was really nice and accommodating to him, but it was just like you could see the frustration on his face, like when he was trying to communicate with people, and it he just didn't have the words for it yet, and it was just so, I couldn't even imagine going through something like that as a child, where it's one thing when you're a kid to move to a different city and go to a different school, but go to another country and then not be able to communicate with people had to just be so overwhelming. And he handled it like a champ, honestly.
That's amazing. I know, it's such, like, that's a vulnerable age too, as if you're not going through enough as an 11-year-old than to have to learn a new language. And you're like, I can't speak English and I'm getting boners and I don't know what to tell people.
Right. And you're like starting middle school, which is like the worst time to be in school because everybody's mean. So I was actually shocked at how nice everybody was really, really nice to the kid overall. Like there was some kids that were kind of jerks that would like make fun of him for not being able to speak English, but those kids were shamed pretty quickly. And I'm kind of proud of everybody being like, hey, this is a kid that's here and is having a hard time, and we need to make him feel, you know, and that's my point of view of it. He may have felt a different way. He may have been like, oh yeah, everybody actually sucked and I hated the whole time, but I feel like he was pretty well taken care of. Don't chew
Well,
on
that's good.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know, I guess I was well taken care of, but who's to say at 5 years old, it's not
Yeah,
like I took in that much of my environment.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna, and like you said, you're watching Nickelodeon and you're like, hey, this ain't so bad.
Yeah, I wish I could still do that.
Mm-hmm. So I've noticed you have been very active during all this. You're educated about coronavirus and everything like that, but you're also very socially active when it comes to Black Lives Matter and just women's rights. And there's no shortage of things to talk about. And I imagine your parents have more conservative views similar to mine. So that's got to be a hugely frustrating situation where, rights of human beings are being threatened to take away because of this, Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing away and stuff like that. And them just being like, I guess they'll just take their rights. No more gay marriage and no more abortion.
Yeah, it's hard to try to communicate about that kind of stuff with my family. And I'm like, those are really the only set of people in my life that I have any sort of influence over, because they'll listen to me without judgment, without getting mad. So I do try, but like going back to their upbringing in Soviet Russia, it's like they grew up on propaganda. They're not the types of people like our generation where we're actually going to go out of our way to maybe Google things and maybe listen to like a whole diverse set of news and whatever, because like I'll listen to a lot of podcasts for news. I'll read the New York Times. I'll read reputable sources.
Right.
Whereas I think they just will pop down in front of the TV and just take whatever's on the TV at face value, which more than anything, like CNN and Fox and all the things that you're sitting down to watch, like they're just saying what their advertisers are okay with them saying. They're not consuming firsthand experiences the way that we are on like Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, even, where you can actually hear from people that are experiencing the injustices firsthand. They don't play that kind of thing on the news. Everything on the news is like, how can we sell you Tide Pods?
Right. And that's I think a very important thing. And that's kind of shows the humanity of the situation, especially a movement like Black Lives Matter, where they're getting a filtered version of it through the news, through whether it's Fox News or CNN. It is very filtered. And even if it has a bias one way or another, they're trying to show you that. Whereas when you can go on Twitter and Instagram and see people, at ground level telling their story and like talking about what's going on and how they're just dealing with the whole situation, I think that's way more powerful. But I don't think they have the access to that, and that it's hard for them to understand that there's other ways to get news now and get be informed and just also have that empathy for people going through a tough time.
First of all, I'm obsessed with your dog.
Oh yeah.
So cute. Oh my God. Hi.
This is Whoopsie.
Oh, so sweet. It's like that. I mean, if I didn't have a dog or if people didn't have pets, it's like, that's the one thing of joy that I can just come home and look at my dog and be like, oh my God, you don't know that any of this is happening. I'm so jealous of you and I love you so much for your innocence. But yeah, that's so important. Like our parents and that generation as a whole, they're not used to going to social media for their information. They're not used to just watching firsthand accounts. Like all they've known is the commercialized and the produced and overproduced versions of stories that they get.
Yeah.
So for them, that's like, they just take it at face value.
And one thing that I'm very careful about is not having those immediate reactions, because obviously when you see something like Jacob Blake, yeah, when he was shot, you wanted to see more and you wanted to understand exactly what happened. And I'm not I like to get as much information as I can. And same with, George Floyd, when you watch the whole video and you see how it was not being de-escalated, but they continue to go after him and just I don't know. It's very disconcerting. And then I don't understand how they see things like that and then don't understand and don't have any questions about why people are upset right now and why people and they get so upset over broken windows and not
Right.
over human lives. And then you know, kind of have to explain, like, Breonna Taylor is probably the most upsetting one of all.
Mm-hmm.
She's just sleeping and she gets killed and people try to twist it one way or another. And even, you know, we're talking to my dad, who's a very conservative guy. I'm like, you are so against government oppression until it happens to a black person, then you seem to be so okay with it. Like, you watch all these videos about how the FBI overstepped when they, you know, Waco, Texas, and David Koresh and all that stuff, and you were so like loud about that back in the 90s. Why are you so blasé and so okay with a cop killing someone that was sleeping?
Right. And that is so heartbreaking. And at the same time, I don't want to paint all of our relatives, you know, in a bad light because they just completely had a different upbringing and different access to information than we did. But I think, at least my own theory, I'm like super into therapy and 12-step stuff and like working on yourself and reading self-help books. And I think what I get from a lot of that is that they did the best they could with the resources that they were given.
Yeah.
And obviously they were raised at a time where it was like nothing but racism. I mean, none of these conversations were being had when our parents were our age even.
And it was,
and I think a lot of them were kind of raised in this society where it was okay to like stack rank yourself against people to feel better about whatever your own situation in your life is. Like, for example, I've got a friend and her mom lives in Cleveland. And her mom puts such ridiculous things on. I mean, she's very pro-Trump. She's very conservative. I had to mute her, and it sucks because this is like a close family friend where I'm like, okay, I can't write you off and I can't color you as this villain, but your ways of thinking are so off to where if she's not entirely happy with the circumstances of her life, she can look at a black person and be like, at least my life is better than this person's life, and get almost some sort of sense of calm of like being able to stack rank themselves. And I think that that's a lot of racism is, I'm not happy in my life. Where can I put my pain? Like, what can I push it off onto so that I can feel better about my own shit instead of just working on your own shit?
Right. And having that scapegoat and that blame to be able to assign to someone else and be like, oh, you know, if they would just act this way or be like that, a lot of these problems they're bringing on themselves. I blocked my dad on Facebook because I couldn't stand what he was doing anymore. Like, he's not even a Trump guy, but he's always been kind of a conspiracy theorist, and he's very, very right leaning, more libertarian, I would say, than Republican, but just really like climate change denier and stuff like that. And I was just like, I'm not going to let you bait people. Like, I'm not going to be a part of it. And so I blocked him on Facebook. And like, we get along.
It's so dangerous that they're so into Facebook and they just spread, like, they will spread things without even clicking to read what it is that they're sharing, what it is that they're reposting off somebody else's page.
And that's what I'm talking about, where like when something breaks and something's going on, I want to read multiple sources and get a pretty clear, wide picture of what happened versus immediately start sharing something just because of the title. And I think more people, young and old, need to do that. I think people need to fact check and like have their own kind of bullshit meter going to figure out what the actual story is and really try and get to the truth of the matter rather than just go with the you know, what they're feeding you.
1,000%. And I think a lot of it too, like, I don't subscribe to really any conspiracy theorists, but when I look at people who are really into sharing all sorts of weird conspiracies, like especially right now about the pandemic, and I mean, the amount of things that I've seen, I can't even like pick one that makes me more angry than the others. But to me, it sounds so sad for you to be the type of person that believes that like every scientist is against you, every doctor is against you. It's like, who hurt you? Why would the whole science community lie to you? What possible motivation do they have to lie about a virus or to lie about the shape of the world, or, you know what I mean? Like people who subscribe to flat earth, that's one of the silliest ones. It's like, what possible logic is there behind everybody lying for hundreds of years? Why?
Yeah, and I was reading about the reason there are conspiracy theorists and like why it's blowing up right now is because during times of unrest like this, it gives them a sense of control and a sense of calm. So it's them, their way of doing therapy is like, of course everything's crazy. Look at this, you know, and they latch onto these theories to help, you know, kind of cope with the fact that they don't really have any control in these situations. And my dad, like I said, is a climate change denier. And, you know, he'll always reference this book that's like 25 years old and be like, well, this guy, you know, makes all these points that, you know, tears climate change to threads. I'm like, yeah, but that's one book by one guy that isn't even like no other scientist agrees with him. So why would these thousands of other scientists be wrong, but this guy, because he is saying what you want to hear, he happens to be right? Like you've always been right, Dad? That's impossible.
Right. I mean, hey, listen, I'll be the first one to admit I have control issues too. And that's something that I have to fight with every single day, to be like, Galina, you know what? You can only control yourself and your reactions to other people. There is never a version of the world where I get to control what anybody else says or does. But there have to be healthier routes to anesthetize your pain instead of trying to do it that way. It's like, we have exercise, we have meditation, we have therapy, we have doing something that you enjoy. Let's say you like going for walks or you like playing sports. There are otherwise like other sources of anesthetizing yourself and feeling better and feeling like you have control. And how are you deciding that the best way to think that you have control is by like getting on the internet and being like, vaccines don't work? Like, yes, they do. Come on. We already answered the question.
And then there's also the community aspect of it where they get to meet other people and you know, they build friendships over these situations. Like my dad will, you know, he's got people on his Facebook that agree with him. So like they'll all like pat each other on the back and share each other's material and just like, I don't even know what's going on here.
Confirmation bias.
Yeah. I feel like you said you're into self-help and 12-step programs. Are you sober now?
No, I'm not. I just have a lot of people around me that are in it. So I've like read the literature and I hear about it all the time. And I'm starting to do Al-Anon, which is for like family members of alcoholics. And so, I mean, I'm not a big drinker. I don't necessarily think that I've ever had an issue with addiction, but I'm really into, and that's actually a big part of it, is a lot of what works with 12-step programs. What I've seen for people is that they get that sense of community out of it. And for me, that's always been like the comedy community has been my place where I feel like I belong and I can find people that, you know, make me feel at home and make me feel heard and understood. And like everybody needs that. Everybody needs that sense of community. And there's just so many healthier ways to find that community than on the internet over nonsense.
Right. And it can be over nonsense, but it doesn't have to be over destructive nonsense.
Yes.
Like if you want to get into a group that is just really into Star Trek or something like that, it's out there for you. So there's so many positive ways you can find a community online and have that sense of belonging. But it's weird that people go in such negative directions. And, you know, you see it like the negativity that is just overwhelmingly rampant on the internet is very disconcerting at times because of just how people will search out things that they want to hate.
They really do. Well, it's like, oh, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's what they say. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that people aren't going out of their way to find communities that are healthy and that are productive. And not, it doesn't even have to be productive. Like by healthy, I mean, oh, you love a TV show or you have a hobby or something silly. Like go out and find your people. Like please go find your people, but be conscious of what people you're finding.
Yeah, and find your people. And also when you find your people, it doesn't have to be so negative. And like, I mean, because you can even go to, like, you can be a Star Wars fan and then still be completely and totally toxic because you take it so serious and they, you know, go in directions that you don't like. and then you ruin these actors' lives and careers because you didn't like the fact that the Asian girl in Last Jedi didn't fit the type that you wanted.
Right.
It's wild how just, I don't know, people, their negativity fuels them, and I've never been that kind of a person. Like it's always been like, hey, look at the bright side of things and try and be more positive. So when you meet those people that are just so draining to be around, and it's like I feel for them though. Like I want them to be happier,
Yeah.
but I don't get how they are so like that. Whether it's good or bad, they just want a reaction, and it's really unhealthy.
Those people are in a lot of pain and they don't want to work through it, and they don't want to move through it in a constructive way. They just want to go ahead and put it on somebody else, make somebody else feel it for a minute.
This has been a nice little therapy edition of the podcast. I can tell you've been doing a lot of therapy, because I've done therapy for years. And
good.
And it's one of those things where when you first start going, you're like, I don't even know why this is stupid. And then you like open your mind to it and you just keep going and you go, okay, wow. And like you see how far you've come. Like I've just, the people pleasing was probably my biggest problem at one point in my life, where I would just do whatever I had to do to like please the people that like were most important to me. And I'd put myself back, but then lash out in really selfish ways, as like be like, well, I did all these nice things, so now I can do the selfish thing. And instead of just like having a balance, it was just really destructive.
Yeah, I do a lot of that too. I identify as codependent with that kind of thing, where I'm like, oh, I just need everybody to be okay about everything. And then it's like, yeah, but I have to check in with me and make sure I'm okay too. And just because I'm aware that that's what the problem is and that's what I need to work on does not, like, please don't think I'm this highly evolved person. It is a constant fucking struggle, and it is a constant work in progress.
Yeah. And everybody going through, not everybody, but a lot of people got real depressed during quarantine, and 2020 has been a very depressing year. And having already kind of been through that, I'm like, oh yeah, I recognize it. Like my girlfriend had a very, very difficult time because she didn't work for like 3 months, and she was someone that would work 2 jobs and would work herself to the bone. And then that all went away, and she just fell into a real dark depression. And it's so nice to see her on the other side of that and have like taken the steps to get through it. And it's one of those things where I was so happy that I already had some coping skills to get through that. Okay. And luckily my dog was one of them, because having that dog, like her being a puppy, when I, forced myself to go out for walks and not just like sit in my apartment and rot.
It's so important to get outside. I mean, that's huge. Like, people really underestimate how vital it is to I would not call LA fresh air, but it still makes such a difference to me when I just remember to walk a little bit, even if it's just something as small as like parking further away from the Target and then having a longer walk. Like, it just will completely change my mindset. You got to move your body too. I mean, that's so critical to not just sit in one spot and be on your phone all day, because when I do that, guess what? I feel depressed too. Like, I've never been a person that struggled with depression necessarily, maybe only situational depression.
Yeah.
But this pandemic has been so hard for me because a lot of my outlets are gone. Like, comedy has basically been non-existing for me in LA. I mean, I've done Zoom shows, but there's, that's not the same.
And those are so depressing.
They're
those
their
are
own form
different kind of depressing. I mean, I got really into like my shoe collecting.
It's very impressive. I see.
Listen, it better, because I spent way too much money on it, but it's pretty good. And that was a nice thing to learn about and kind of figure out my way through the sneaker culture during all this. But then also, just like you said, getting outside and moving has been so critical, because it's not like there's so many different facets to it. The air is different. Moving your body, you're going to get endorphins from that. You're getting vitamin D from the sun. And and then also just seeing things and experiencing things and being able to put down your phone and let, the world just be happening around you. It's very nice. And so I've been, and then having goals. Like, I like having goals to try and get to 10,000 steps or 15,000 steps, and then count your calories and all these different things that, you know, you can use those as markers and be like, oh, of course I'm going to be depressed. I didn't walk this week and I overate. So that's going to make me really sad. So if you can kind of keep track of that stuff, you're going to have a better idea of, you know, how you're doing.
Oh, 1,000%. And it's really important that you bring up goal setting, because when we're missing our outlets and when things are shut down and we can't go out because of the pandemic and things like that, like those going out, at least if you're having a good time when you're out, releases endorphins and gets you like those hits of dopamine that you need, that you get from like making eye contact with people. You have to then create your own situations, because if you goal set and you reach a goal, even if it's something super tiny, you're still going to get a dopamine hit off of that. So you have to cheat and you have to like create other ways of getting those dopamine hits so you can like stay feeling chemically okay.
Yeah, and like that's one of those things where you see everybody's got their own different way of doing it. Mary, who is you know, she's a year and a half sober now, and she's got to, you know, she's put those goals in place like on a daily basis where like, oh, I'm going to eat this, you know, I'm going to film myself making it, have fun doing it, and use those little things to get those little dopamine hits, like you said. And, you know, for me, it's been this podcast, starting this podcast a few months ago, has been nice because I like the challenge of it. And every time I get an episode up, you get that sense of accomplishment. Like, even if it's not the most popular podcast, that's not as important as just continuing the creative process and being able to create things and learn from it and get better at it. And so that's been really positive for me. So for you, you've been doing stand-up, I want to say 5 years or 6 years now.
Yeah, it's going to be 6 years, but I don't know whether this year counts or not.
Yeah, well, we'll go five or 6 years, whatever it is. Yeah. But how did you get into it? And like, what made you want to do stand-up?
Completely accidentally, which I feel bad that that's the story, because it's something I'm so passionate about. But here's what happened. I turned 25 and had a quarter life crisis, which is so dramatic, but admittedly that's what happened. I thought I wanted to be like a real estate mogul. I moved out to LA right after college, and I ended up getting stuck in an office job where I worked in a cubicle, which for the longest time had been truly my nightmare. And that's what ended up happening. And I just had no sense of direction at all. I didn't know that stand-up was even an option. And one night my friend had free tickets to go to the Comedy Store and watch a show, and it was going to be our pregame before we went out to the bars. And I'm sitting there in the original room, like first or second row. I had never heard of the entire lineup, even though a lot of them were really successful. I just had never been into stand-up. I only knew household names. And I'm sitting there taking it in and having such a great time. And just like at some point throughout the night, it clicked. I was like, this is a job. I want this job. So in true fashion, I'm very left-brained. I'm not like this naturally inclined, super creative person. Like, I like mathematics. I like the fact that I can figure out a joke through word math. Like, that really appeals to me. To me, I'm like, oh, a joke is an equation and I can figure it out.
Yeah, there's a formula to it. Yeah.
So I like that part of it.
That is one of my favorite things is that word placement, the timing that goes into it, the structure, all that stuff. And then how you can, you know, and it's almost like a magic trick too, where you don't want to reveal anything too soon. You want to do some misdirection, so the punchline hits harder. And just that, you know, I'm not a very mathematical, but that process is so enjoyable and so satisfying. So when you get a joke to hit, it's just absolutely, there's no rush like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I started doing research right away. I was like watching all these YouTube videos of people doing sets. And I think I read the, was it Judy Gold? Is that right? Who was the, yeah, I read that book. And then I started doing open mics. It was at the end of the year 2014. And like the very first time I ever did stand up, I bombed so hard for the entire 5 minutes and I got one laugh at the end. And I just got hooked. It was like how they describe a heroin addiction, where I'm like, holy shit, I just made these people laugh after standing up here getting stared at for 5 minutes. And that was it. I was hooked, and I started getting up. I mean, literally every night I did 365 sets in 2015.
That's awesome. So when everything gets back to normal, do you have anything, that was in the works stand-up wise with touring or anything like that?
Yeah, I had been excited to do more traveling this year. I had, a lot of things that were supposed to come up where I was going to have a much busier year than my previous years. I think I was supposed to do EDC in Vegas like that. I mean, it wasn't inked, but there was a lot of talk of it. There was
Yeah.
back and forth, like you passed this round of this, you passed that round. And then when it got canceled, they were still reaching out to me saying, hey, we might still have it in October. Are you still in?
Mm-hmm.
And then it became apparent to me before it became apparent to them that like there's not going to be anything of that magnitude for at least probably another year or two. So I knew it was off the table, but before that I had been super excited to go.
What was it?
EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival. It's
Okay.
this festival in Vegas where it's like all EDM artists. I don't really know why they would even have stand-up at it, but I know that they had stand-up at like Warped Tour and that they had stand-up at, I don't know, Lollapalooza, but like they do it at music festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that sounds so great, even if nobody's there for stand-up, just the fact that I get to go as a comedian, as like an artist and enjoy it, because I actually went in 2012, like just for fun, and it was awesome. And the prospect, like there's something so nostalgic about being able to work as a comic at a thing that you went to before and really enjoyed. I actually experienced that in Cleveland too. I think it was maybe one of you, or I forget. I got to do a show at the Grog Shop, and like I grew up going to shows there, and I was like, this is so magical that I'm on this stage when I was like 14 with braces, like bopping in the audience, having the time of my life.
It's I've done a couple of festival shows like that, like music festivals, like Rock on the Range. I've performed at a bunch of times, and now it's called Sonic Temple, and that's so much fun. And you get a good audience there because, they'll usually get some good names, but then they'll also people will need a break from all the other madness. So usually those are a nice place to just have a seat and sit down and just kind of switch gears a little bit. And so those comedy tents at festivals are a lot of fun. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Where can people find you on Instagram and Twitter?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I am Thumb Galina on both, THUMB, Galina, GALINA. And hopefully I'm in the works of actually starting my own podcast, so I'll have to have you on that once I get it going.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Hello, let's try again. I'm back, bitches. What the fuck is up?
My girlfriend's back. She broke up with me a little while ago, and then we got back together.
We had feelings. We talked about it. We have to make this a short one because the first one...
We talked about a lot of things, and it was very funny, and it did not get recorded because of problems.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right.
What?
This is a shot of Everclear.
It's not.
What is it?
Don't sniff it, but guess again. The Everclear's gone.
The Everclear's gone?
As far as I know.
I know the bottle's in there.
As far as my nose knows. Don't sniff it!
You said sniff it.
I said don't sniff it.
Oh, I know what this is.
Cheers to our first date.
Cheers to our first date.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
I got 99 bananas, but my bitch ain't one.
I'm a 99 of them.
We had 100 bananas on our first date. Oh, that was our first date. I won.
Yeah, it was.
I won that year. That was our first date. Was
it
Polar Blast
2019?
Battle 2019. She came with me on the bus.
You asked me, and I said, I don't know. And then you're like, are you sure? It'll be fun. And then I was like, well, I have the day off.
You have that day off, and then you brought a flask that's shaped like a banana, and you filled it with 99 bananas, so we had 100 bananas.
Can we hold on that subject for a moment?
Yes, I'm wearing sunglasses because my eyes fucked up, and then you are wearing sunglasses in solidarity because you found these ones.
Because I found these because we were looking
Those are
for
the Elton John ones.
A cord. I love Elton John.
Me too.
Side note.
This is going to be all over the place.
Side note. What?
You burped, and then we stopped talking. See, people that are watching will know that I burped. People that are listening thought you burped for a little bit.
Why did I buy 99 bananas? You told me to...
I told you to buy 99 bananas, so we had 100 bananas.
Oh, okay, here we go. You told me to buy 99 bananas, and then I told you that for Christmas, I asked my mom to buy me a flask because, hi, hello, alcoholic. Anyone else out there? Me. I asked her for a flask and a spice grinder because I cook for a living. So I'm thinking of like a fucking like fancy ass coffee bean grinder, peppercorn grinder, cinnamon stick grinder, like one that you plug in that you just push the button and it goes and it crushes stuff. No. So instead, my mom buys me a weed grinder and 2 flasks for Christmas. One of them shaped like a banana. The other one, holographic tie-dye.
Our moms are very different.
Moms are very different. So,
but you think my mom's funny?
My mom is hilarious on accident.
Mm-hmm. My mom's hilarious passive aggressively.
So she buys me 2 flasks, and I pick out the rainbow one because I'm a hippie. And then she buys me this banana one because I look at it and I was like, this one's fucking hilarious. And Bill's like, buy something like, I don't know, 99 bananas to bring on the bus to the Polar Blast. I'm like, hi, I don't know anybody. So like you saying 99 bananas, like I'm going to buy what you told me to buy. So I did. And I put it in this banana flask. So
which made it 100 bananas. I don't know why I wanted 99 bananas, but I feel like it was tied into that banana flask.
100 bananas.
100
I think
bananas.
I told you I had the banana flask before you told me what to get.
I think the 99 bananas was tied to you telling me that you had the banana flask. Hence, get 99 bananas, and then you drink it out of a banana flask. 100 bananas.
Okay, also, this is the 99 bananas from 2020, February, not 2019, because we murdered that one.
Murdered that one. This one's lasted for a while, because we have not... been up on the 99 bananas, but
we've been doing bad at banana shots.
But we've been doing lots of other drinking, which is why we sound the way we sound tonight. Anyway, she broke up with me a few months ago. We got back together. We talked about all our feelings, and it did not get expressed because of it didn't get recorded. What do you want to absolutely say about that, other than you're mean?
I'm a cunty ass bitch.
No, you said one thing that I think you're absolutely right about.
What did I say?
Overall, it was for the best.
Okay, yeah, overall it was for the best, whether I had that intention in the beginning or not, but like...
It forced us to talk about things that we need to talk about, and then we opened up lines about our communication, and then...
putting me in an uncomfortable situation will bring out weird parts of me. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't like talking about my feelings. I don't like recognizing them, and I just like shoving them in a corner in a closet and pretending like they don't exist. Like clothes I don't wear for 25 years.
Or things that I just have in my closet or studio.
Oh, prime example. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're kind of relatable. We're both Aquarius. Did you know the stars said that we're both Aquarius?
You know the stars that said,
fuck me?
Yeah, I do. All right. Should we just start talking about our sex? So we got back together and we have good sex.
Wait, please hold.
Okay, talk about
so we broke up.
You broke up with me.
I broke up with you because I was freaking out about XYZ ABC QRP squared. And I'm not exaggerating. Excuse me, so fuck you for thinking so. And then we talked about it. We had a formal dinner. And by formal, I meant we're going to dress up and we're going to have a nice dinner together. And this young man understood me and my layers just like a Shrek. Like, okay, you said formal. We're going to have a nice dinner. We're going to dress nicely.
You dressed much nicer than I did.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of a slut.
Yeah. Well, you dressed slutty and I dressed nice. Oh, well, nice for me.
Nice for you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And we talked about things and it did get better. And now I feel like we're in a very good place. And we have good sex. And now...
That was never not a thing.
That was never not a thing. Yeah, that was always a good thing. It was mostly, we just had to figure out scheduling and communication and things like that.
Scheduling, communication, expectations, blah, blah, blah. Like the things that nobody ever wants to talk about in a relationship that are like so fucking important, then it's dumb and stupid.
I was willing to talk about him the whole time.
Shut up.
She's the one that has issues.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And I was like, hey, let's talk about these issues. And she's like, I don't want to. But then we did. After she broke up with me. And we got back together. But
Wait.
let me tell them
Wait.
why I wanted to get back together with you.
Oh, why?
So I was very hurt by the whole breakup. I was devastated. And I was ready to write her off. But then I had an emergency situation happen in my condo. And she showed up on the spot, ready to help me. And that meant a lot to me. And it reopened the lines of communication, which had been reopened already, but it just started things back. And it kind of alleviated some stress between the two of us and helped us start talking about things. And she started, and one of my big things that I told people when you were not around is like, I need her to come to a realization. Like I told him I'm open to being with you again, but whoopsie. I said, you have to be open. You have to figure out what you need for yourself. I can't tell you what you need.
You said specifically on the radio that you did not want to get back together with me.
But that's different than the radio's not real life.
It's part of your life.
It's part of my life, but it's not everything. Because what I say on the radio, like, I might feel a different way and never get to say it on the radio.
But why?
Because when I said that, I may have meant it, but when
you sounded like you meant it because when
good at
you
my job. Let's do the mic.
Sorry, I want to be comfortable.
Well, you have to make the listeners comfortable.
Are you fucking comfortable now?
Not anymore. Screamed at him. So anyway, yes, I may have said that, but that was tough guy Bill just trying to be like, yeah, I can't do it because I was hurt. And when I said that, I probably meant it, but as the week went on, and then you showed up when my apartment flooded, and you were there to help me and be there for me and take care of me, I was like, oh yeah. I was
never not there for you. I don't think.
I know, but you also hurt me a lot, and then I saw how that helped me understand how much you meant to me, and so then we were able to get back together.
Did that help you understand how much that you mean to me?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
It did.
Okay.
That was a glasses off thing for just the listeners. I'm wearing sunglasses because my eyes all fucked up, but I'll just take them off now.
But that was a very. If there's not a really good way to break down that whole week because.
It was brutal. It was a brutal week.
It was a brutal week, and it was a brutal weekend because I work in the restaurant industry, and I usually work Friday, Saturday, and we're closed Sunday. So you and I would spend Sundays together.
Yeah.
But that particular week, my best friend was back in town from having a summer out in Oregon with her mans. So I spent the entire weekend at her house.
Right. Which I had, knew you were going to do.
You knew that was going to happen. But you were also used to me being gone all weekend. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I'm just like, okay, so it's Friday at fucking 4:30. Usually I'm freaking out about X, Y, and Z and how much cheese we fucking have. And instead I'm just like, what did I say to Bill? Does he still like me?
I didn't talk to her for
5
the whole
days.
weekend.
5 days.
Was it 5 days?
5 days.
That's pretty good.
Hi, I'm a psychopath.
Mm-hmm. 5 days. That's a lot of days not to talk to you.
5 days.
Well, it was Thursday. That's when you broke up with me.
Thursday night.
But last time I talked to you was Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then I didn't text you till Tuesday or Wednesday.
We can look back, but I don't remember. But
I feel like it was earlier than 5 days. I think it's 4 days.
I think,
All right, maybe it's 5 days.
I think it's 5 days.
Whatever. But I had to be strong.
I'm a fucking...
You broke up with me.
I know, and I'm a weak bitch.
But anyway, it all came back together. We got together. We're better than ever. We're very happy. We had a threesome. We're very open about who we are. And then, we were talking about this earlier.
It's hard to eat pussy when you're drunk.
And I said, I can do it.
You're a professional. I'm just an amateur.
No. Fight your fight.
I'm an amateur.
I am, what?
Pretty mediocre.
That's not
Pretty okay.
more.
You do your beard. Oh, okay.
What am I?
I like building you up to these things.
What am I good at?
Okay, so excuse me, but has anyone ever heard of the song W.A.P.?
WAP.
Washington Apple Pie?
No. It's
No,
wet.
No, Washington Apple Pussy Pie.
No, that'd be wet.
Too many peas?
Too many peas. It's
okay.
just
Well,
wet ass.
ass pussy just throws me off.
I know, me too. I talked about that when the song came out.
Well, my pussy's wet as fuck.
Uh-huh. And how do you know that?
Because I see it on Bill's beard whenever I shove his face between my legs.
But it doesn't start that way. It ends that way.
It starts that way. Sometimes. What do you want me to say?
Credit where credit's due.
Okay, Bill, you're good at eating my fucking pussy. Okay, this is what you wanted. You wanted the noises.
Well, the noise is who's the noise though?
Besides the dog?
No, because all right, let's talk about my mom
Dad,
for a little
is that
bit.
you?
So you said tonight my mom, I have a hot mom, and I had a problem with that. And then there's other things that led to
Stop
that.
saying things that I don't remember.
Well, you did say that.
I remember saying it, but I don't want you to think that I remember it.
Right. But we talked about my mom and my dad and the fact that he probably is not
Your
as
dad
good
is
at
not licking your mom's pussy.
it. So hard to hear.
Again. So the first time I
But
said
that's
it.
why we started doing the sound, because he tries to get it all done. He is trying. He's not going to waste emotions. He thinks he can get it all done in one lick, so he's just doing it as hard as he can.
Wide tongued.
Just wide tongue. Just one
As damp as
long-
possible. It sounds like you're like sucking a loogie back in.
Right. That's how he eats pussy.
Ugh. You're like anti-throwing up. Stop it. Stop doing it. You want to make out
On the podcast?
right now?
All right.
No. Those noises are really getting me going.
Yeah. The way my dad eats pussy.
Oh, God. Okay, don't say those words.
And then he goes,
I'm not going to lie. I forgot your dad's name until today.
and what is it?
Jim.
Yeah.
Do you know what my dad's name is?
Do you?
Hey-o! Yes, Daddy, I do.
What is it?
What is it?
I don't know your dad's name.
Do you know my mom's name?
Yes, Jennifer. But she's not in my phone as Jennifer.
What's she in your phone has?
Sam's mom.
Fair. I love it. My...
But your nickname is not on my phone as Sam.
Continue.
Dummy grenade.
Oh, cute. He loves me. He loves me so much.
I used to be fart captain, but what am I now?
You used to be a fart captain, and then you moved on to Sugar Pants because I was super hammered, and I was like, Sugar Pants sounds cute!
Mm-hmm.
And then I got real sober, and I was like, Bill's fine. You're back to Bill.
I'm just Bill?
You're Bill Squire. There's something about the way that your name sounds and feels in my parts.
And it's on my shoes and my logo. It's a brand.
You don't need a thing.
I'm a brand.
No, you're
I'm
not.
like pound cake. I'm a brand.
You're not a.
Have you heard him say, I want to
You're
watch you
not
poop?
fucking Doritos. Shut up.
But did you hear him say, I want to watch you poop?
Ew, no.
It's so funny. Anyway,
You said you only wanted this to be 20 minutes.
I think we're about 20 minutes.
I don't. This is where I say I don't want to be done again.
Okay, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to talk about?
Is your phone gonna let us not be done?
Let me check it. Oh, whoopsie wants to be done.
Excuse me. Please hold.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about your haters.
No, they just hate when I
They hate when you swear.
suck my fucking nuts, and I say that to my bosses at work on the regular. So what do you want to do? Fire me?
You're not getting paid.
Get up, grow up.
No one's getting paid for this podcast. I'm doing
Grow
this
up,
because I
get-
love doing what I do.
I'm starting to like what he does,
Oh, just now?
like personally on my level.
I like when you're on the podcast.
This is the first, like today, earlier I said when we did we did take one. I was like, this is the first time that I feel kind of comfortable.
No, you're doing great.
It's like, it's fine.
It's very fun. All right. What should we do now? You didn't want to stop podcasting, so you gotta bring it.
There was a thing. There was a thing.
There was a thing. There was a thing.
What was the last? What was the last? That was the last thing we were talking about. Fuck.
Oh, we're putting the glasses back on? Glasses back on.
They're my thinking goggles, okay?
Thinking
I'm like my
goggles.
mom. Dude, oh my god. I want my mom to be on this podcast.
All right, but I don't want to interview her.
But I want her to not know that she's,
Can I say something?
yeah. She's a fucking psycho cunt.
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say your mom is a lot.
She was very mean to you the first time that she met you, and she apologizes to me continually to this day.
Well, first impressions are a thing. And I forgive her.
Sit.
But even
asshole.
when she's not that, even when she's nice, she's still a lot. I don't dislike her. I think she's sweet and she's a nice lady.
She's a
and
fucking psychopath.
Well, I don't like sometimes when she's mean to you, but I see that like very rarely. But like early on, I saw it more.
Well,
You set more boundaries with her, and that's nice.
yes, early on you saw it more because her and I were a lot closer, and her and I had I had been living with her for a long time, and then I
Yes.
just moved out, blah blah blah. My mom.
Exactly like my mom. They're basically twins. Has your mom ever clogged your toilet?
Has your mom ever told you about how many dudes she's fucking at the same time?
No.
Okay.
I don't. Listen,
Do
if
you-
I didn't exist, I would swear my mom's a virgin.
Do you know that my mom gets weed and pizza from the same guy?
What kind of pizza?
My mom doesn't even smoke weed.
She just wants pizza? What'd she do with the weed?
Do you know that the guy that my mom gets pizza and weed from is the same guy who's the dad of some dude I went to high school with?
All right,
are you chewing
she
on,
knows
Whoops?
cool dudes. She's got something.
My mom is fucking crazy. Okay, you ate the ice cream. It's gone. Lick the banana cup.
She's not licking it for the record. She doesn't.
I would.
You'll lick my banana cup. This is a visual, and she's looking at, and it's pretty gross. I love her. All right. I feel like this is a good stopping point.
All right, I have nothing else fun to say. You're welcome. Goodbye.
I love you so much.
I love you. Wait, hold on. Please hold.
Okay, wait. Before we go, she's putting her glasses back on. What do you got to say?
I'm going to say something that's going to hopefully make you laugh because we talked about it the other night.
Okay.
This relates to your mom and her poop story.
Okay.
So my grandpa's birthday is 4th of July.
Oh, the poop story. Yes.
See, he's already happy. It's a little thing.
It's in my notes.
And sometimes it's the big things that makes me happy.
A big thing that won't go down the toilet.
The 4th of fucking July.
4th of
It's
July.
my-
What year? This year?
No, 3 years ago.
Okay.
2017? That's 3, right?
Yeah.
now? Yeah. So
Saddle up, Wolfie.
We're
We're hearing a good poop story.
it's not even that good. I never said it was good. I just said it was a poop story.
Let's hear the poop story. Wolfie's ready for it.
At my grandpa's house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so like my grandma and my grandpa been together my entire life. My grandma is my actual grandma. My grandpa, George, he's my step grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
Their house got on fire. Great, cool, awesome, whatever. So they moved to Fairview, where my grandma's mom owned a house. It was this pink house, blah, 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 whatever. Choke on the microphone. Got it.
Yes, please.
So every 4th of July, we would always go to my grandparents, whatever. And this year, like, I've always had some weird digestive issues, whether it's in or out or whatever, just like moving around. It is not pleasant.
I can't confirm. I confirm. Anyway.
I have really smelly farts, okay? Like,
She woke me up with a fart the other day. She didn't want to admit it, but she did.
I will not take full...
You did.
No.
It happened. Do you need a treat?
But we were at his house, and we're eating hot dogs, and it's fucking 4th of July, and everybody's having chips and hot dogs and fucking hamburgers and corn on the cob. And I go to take a fucking shit in this bathroom, and he has a super flush, just like my mom's house.
Yep.
You know what didn't super flush?
Your big shit.
My regular-sized poop.
Your big shit.
It wasn't a big poop.
It didn't flush. Regular poops will flush. It's big shit.
So, then...
Ha!
So then I had to find the fucking plunger in my grandparents' bathroom. Mm-hmm. And my sister lives there, so like all her fucking makeup shit is in every cupboard you open. It's like, no foundation. That won't unclog a toilet!
Can you cover it up? Can you mask it? Can you make the...
It was just foundation, not cover up.
Can you make the
No,
the poop match the toilet color?
not funny.
If you're white enough, it is funny.
I wear 110. What do you wear? You don't even know what that means.
110 sunscreen?
She's half Mexican. No, it's
Okay.
like she's like a 150.
Okay, fine.
So I'm trying to find the fucking
Makeup's
plunger.
racist.
Yeah, right now, currently during my poop story, I am racist against everything because my
No, you're not racist. Makeup's racist.
correct.
Anyway, more on the mic.
I'm stop yelling at me.
That was a very regular suggestion from a producer of a comedy podcast. No, don't pretend like you're sucking the microphone.
Well, I
Just-
tried to poop and I couldn't poop and I had to find a fucking plunger and I couldn't find a plunger and it took me 25 minutes to flush my shit down my grandpa's toilet.
I'm proud of you.
And everyone was outside and somebody was waiting for me outside the bathroom door.
Okay. Why are you and Scott? What did you say? You said earlier.
This is the transition.
This is the transition. Skylar took some incredible shits, by the way. That's my oldest daughter. So you said that you and her have some things in common.
Okay, so
We haven't talked about this yet.
we went out to dinner for a birthday situation with the whole fam.
Uh-huh.
This is my first time with the whole fam.
Microphone.
My first time with the whole I'm sorry. I'm really bad at this.
I know, but I'm trying to help you.
Can I just hold it against my body?
Do you want to hold it? You can hold it.
That sounds like a lot of work, but this is my first time out to dinner with the whole family situation. We went to a hibachi.
Which was great. She got sushi at the hibachi, which it's a hibachi and sushi, so it's fine.
Okay, I wanted fucking raw tuna. Thank you very much.
It was good.
Fulfill my needs. That's all I ask of anyone ever.
I try.
You do. Sushi also do too. Is this
All right.
like a sushi do too meme that I need to
Hashtag
start?
sushi do too.
Okay.
Anyway, you and Skylar have similar.
So Skylar
something.
showed up in these like
I love Skylar, by the way. She's my oldest daughter. I love her. I don't particularly like her all the time.
she's fine. She's a 21-year-old kid.
And she's great, and I love her, but she makes me crazy a lot because she does the things that 21-year-olds do. She makes
she's
me
out there
nuts.
living her life, doing reckless shit.
Not even reckless. She's not even that reckless. Not anymore. She used to be. a lot of the stuff that I have against Skylar comes from teenage Skylar. Older Skylar has been much more responsible and very, very good. But Skylar as a teenager was a...
Anyways.
Anyway, you had something in common with her, apparently.
I have 2 things in common with her.
Yes.
So today, we went out to dinner for a birthday situation. And she showed up in some sparkly-ass fucking high heels. And I showed up...
Boots. They're boots.
High-heel boots.
High-heel boots.
And I showed up in some sparkly-ass fucking Doc-ass Martens. So both wearing sparkly-ass boots.
Yes, girls like sparkly things.
I like boots.
So that's one thing.
Did you notice the purse that she was wearing?
I did not.
Ooh, okay.
Is it the... But
Yup.
it's the multicolored
Yep.
thing. Yeah.
It's the,
No, because I saw when she bought that. On Amazon because she used my Amazon account.
The Geo fucking backpack that I have.
No, that's cute. Yeah. I like that. Those are 2 things that I'm actually very okay with, style-wise, with Skylar. Is she has, like, that purse that's similar to your backpack is nice.
It's literally the same brand.
Yes.
Sorry.
And it's fine. It came back. And her shoes they were cute. So that's fine.
They're cute, a little ridiculous, but they're cute.
Yeah, that's fine.
Shut
All right.
the fuck up, dog.
All right, we got to go because the dog's taking over now. Thank you for watching and listening. Make sure you subscribe or don't subscribe. I don't care what you do, but don't tell anybody about this because I talk about too many things that are secrets.
And if you want to see pictures of my butt, too fucking bad.
This is the Bill Squire Show.